Tour of my couch pile.
Great pile.
I'm gonna also look at our couch.
Ugh.
Oh dear. Hi. Hey everyone, welcome to this video. Today I'm gonna share some projects that I've been working on, kind of like a project update. I've done that in the past, but it's been a while, and I'm going to specifically share the projects that I keep next to my spot on the couch, which is this spot right here. Lewis has the other side of the couch and has a lot of his projects over there. Usually I keep embroidery projects. Sorry if you can hear dogs in the background. Our neighbors' dogs often whine a lot throughout the day. It can kind of be frustrating to listen to. My setup right now in the new apartment is that I keep embroidery projects around this corner area. Also, our couch is very destroyed. Anyways, I keep my embroidery projects next to the couch because I like to get up early and do a little bit of embroidery while I have coffee. And then during the day, I go upstairs and work on beading projects, or sometimes I'll bring an embroidery project upstairs, but only bring some of my threads that I need for it rather than the whole thread case. Upstairs in my workroom is my sewing stuff, beading stuff, other miscellaneous things, and then down here is mostly embroidery, but I do have other things to show you as well because I'm starting to incorporate crochet back into my practice. It's come to my attention that my pile of projects that I'm working on, it's getting a little out of hand, so I do need to organize them. So yesterday Lewis brought this cart up for me and we did put our printer on it. Our printer was previously just on the floor. It's taking us some time to get our apartment to where we want it to be. We have a lot of furniture updates that we want to do, but that's taking a while as well. We brought this cart up, so I'm going to try to neatly put my stuff on it as I go through it to try to keep my mess in check. So I'm just gonna get into it and show you some stuff. This is my very messy station. And then we also divide the table in half, where the tarot deck here shows my half of the table and the laptop is Lewis's half. This is Lewis's watercolor station. We've got some art on the walls. Pretty much all my art. That little piece is Lewis's. And also this sculpture thing that's on our lamp. So we want a new couch so bad. It's just taking us time to save up for it. I'll go through all my little piles, the books that I've got. This is another twisty tie sculpture of Lewis's. They're like the ties that grocery stores have, or like little goodie bags and stuff. Lewis makes little sculptures out of them. I'm gonna put that up here. First things first, I've been drawing on t-shirts a lot. So this is a thrifted shirt. I found a bunch of white and pale shirts that I want to make drawings on in micro pens. So it just has a piece of cardboard in between the layers so that the pen doesn't go through. I haven't done any drawing on this one, but I'll show you some footage of me drawing on a different shirt. And my plan is to also draw on some of these. Not the gray one, actually. The gray, I'm gonna do a different experiment up in my sewing room. T-shirts. Lewis just gave me this pink one. And this is a sweatshirt that I put aside that I recently thrifted that I'd like to do an embroidery on. Something simple. I was thinking of praying mantis, but I'm not 100% sure. And then it's just scrap paper. These are buttons. If you can see behind the lamp, this is tucked away. It's a little canvas that I started sewing a bunch of large buttons onto. It's not anything that I'm giving too much thought to, and it has sat behind the couch and I've forgotten about it, but it's my way of using all these buttons and putting them somewhere. So I want to make a big abstract button piece, and then I also thought it'd be fun to put beads on wires and have them coming out like 3D loops and make it this big crazy sculpture piece that will sit on the wall. Let me go through this first pile. Well, this is the gray shirt I just put aside. I have plans to maybe practice gathering it based on a project in my fabric manipulation book, which I have over here. This is the book that I got. I think I mentioned it in a previous video. I finally got it in the mail, and there's a project in here in the gathering section. It's a really cool book, and I would like to try a lot of these projects, but specifically in the shirring section, there's so many cool things. I think this is the one that I wanted to try doing. This meandering shirring is improvised as automatic gathering proceeds. So I got a gathering presser foot for my sewing machine, and I thought I would like to practice doing this all over a shirt. First, I want to do a sample square, kind of like in this picture, to see how much the gathers take in the measurement of the initial square to the final square. But I did specifically get this gray shirt that's a bit larger than the size I'd normally wear so that I can practice gathering all over in a crazy pattern. Okay, next is a crochet project from a while ago. All these squares. This is a little notebook. I have a bunch of my notebooks actually. These are the microns, the pens that I use to do the t-shirt drawing. I'm gonna put these up here. Back to the crochet. Oh, well, back to my notebooks. These are all my little notebooks that I go through. Lots of notes in here, lots of little drawings. Yeah, you get the idea. I've probably shared stuff from here. I make lots of little drawings in my notebooks, and then I go through them when I need to think of projects ideas. I think this is a new one. Yeah, this doesn't really have anything in it. Maybe 1 or 2 drawings and a list. This guy's got a lot of drawings in it. So I'm gonna keep my notebooks down there. Back to my crochet project. I made a bunch of these squares at some point, and there's some more over here. They're all the same size, but with some variations, and I was just trying to get rid of yarn basically and figured I'll make a blanket or something. And now I have started piecing them together by crocheting 2 squares together, and then I started piecing the pairs into what's becoming a really thick scarf. Here's what I got so far. So I just need to keep going and make it as long as I want it to be. I figured I'd sell it in my shop once I finish it. Just kind of wanted to not have these sit around in a storage bin. And I have just random pieces of crochet work that I've done. I'm taking them apart to use as the connector threads. I've been taking apart this thing, which I think was a beret, a bag that I started a while ago that I'll probably take apart, and the rest are just lots and lots of squares. Another crochet project I have over here. This is a curtain that I started working on, a panel for a curtain that I wanted to make for our bathroom upstairs. It's inspired by Filet crochet, but I was just guessing, or I made up a pattern trying to make like a polka dot, but I'm just repeating this pattern until it's big enough, and then I also have to add trim around the edges and bottom, and then like loops up top to go on a curtain rod. This is the thread I'm using. And then in the meantime, from the library, I got this, and it's great. It definitely gives me more of an insight to the kind of projects that I want to make. So yeah, I want to get into this, and specifically the first project I want to try is a swan curtain. I don't want to make a baby blanket. I want to make this one. And I think I'm going to make it in black thread. Let me show you the example. Cat stuff is cute too. Here are some of the curtains. This is the look that I'm going for. It's just my pattern's a lot more simple and it's not as tight because I'm using a larger crochet hook. I would love to try making that one. It just looks very complicated, and I love these tulips as well. This is the one I want to try making, and I pulled out a little bit of black thread. It's kind of dusty though. I have more of this upstairs in my room. I'm gonna try to make like a black swan curtain, and who knows, maybe if it comes out good, I'll put it in my Etsy shop. I have this book set to the side because I'd like to start trying to make this swan curtain, but I also feel like I'm not allowed to start anything out of this book until I finish this curtain because I started this, I guess, back in May when we moved here, and it's September. So I'd like to finish this curtain and get it in our bathroom. This is the crochet hook that I'm using. It's small, but it's not as small as I think I'm supposed to be using. I think I'm supposed to use this size, which is a 4? I don't know. I don't really know crochet hook sizes, but I have this set aside for the swan curtain. This over here is one of my favorite books. I've shared it on my channel before. It's the Reader's Digest North American Wildlife book. Give you a little look through. I'm always opening this up for reference pictures of wildflowers. There's a lot of animals in the front. There's some great insects and amphibians. I love these images for bird references. I'm definitely looking at this a lot as I do my pen drawings on the t-shirts. Put that there. I just have a random pile of thread here. I'm not gonna organize this too much. The thread, I just leave how it is and take as I need it. I have a massive cone of white thread, and I also have a massive cone of black thread. I've been using the black thread for some hoops that are just simple line drawings. This is a drawing that I found in my notebook based off of a tarot card pull. It was the 7 of Swords reversed, and then I made a little drawing based on the reading. It's kind of about trusting your intuition and knowing that you have the key or the answers within. I like to challenge myself sometimes to not do fully embroidered, or I mean filled in embroidery for every project. It's sometimes hard for me to hold back and just do a simple line drawing, but I like to challenge myself to do this sort of practice. I don't know if you can see, there's little punches in here because I was trying to see if the punch needle would look good as an outline for this piece, and I ended up pulling it out because I like how my normal embroidery looks more than the punch needle. I also this morning drew out a couple more hoops with this green linen in it, but these are a bit more inspired by quilts. You can see my measuring takes a few times to get the proper dimensions that I want. These ones will probably have more of a simple color palette, but something more than just black thread. And I also have this one here. I have a ruler over here next to my table, which helps me when I'm doing this stuff. It's pretty essential. This one's pretty beat up. It still does the job. These are my favorite kinds of rulers. This purple notebook's my daily planner, which I do keep out all the time here on my half of the table. I have a random doily that I took from our bathroom because I thought it'd be cool to crochet around it and make some kind of top out of it. I have a threader. These are for my punch needle, which my punch needle's over here. This is a threader. It's kind of hard to see. They're also really hard to store anywhere or keep anywhere because they're so delicate. I'm still understanding the punch needle. I'm still getting used to it. This is a very fine tip needle, which is for embroidery floss thickness thread. And then I also have a backup spring for that. Lots of little pieces that could easily get lost. I'm just gonna put them on top of my printer. That's the backup needle that goes in here, up here. Oh my God. And then over here, I have a couple pens that I was trying to use for drawing on dark fabric. I don't prefer either of these. This one barely worked. Don't recommend whatever this thing is. And then the Sharpie works, it's just a thick line, and I prefer a thinner line. But I have these over here just because I don't know where else to put them. Backup cutting tools. These are my favorite cutting tools, and I keep them on the table here, and an embroidery needle, a pile of thread from previous projects. Yeah, I'm trying to be more organized with my thread. A chapstick, a very old chapstick that has candle wax on it. Oh wow, some seashells. I brought these back from when we visited Maine. We did a kayaking tour and then stopped on a beach, and I found a few cute shells. These ones are cool because they were very purple when I got them. Another embroidery needle. A cone of red thread. Gonna put that over here with my black and white thread. These are my crochet hooks. This is the one I'm using for the scarf, and then these are a few others. This was like a Muji marker set, but I really like the container. Even after the markers dried out, I figured this makes a good storage for crochet hooks. I also have the tarot deck that I use the most over here. I'm trying to pull cards every day or every other day and then do a little drawing. This is the book I'm reading right now. It's pretty good. I'm trying to read more translated books. Yeah, it's interesting. I have a bottle of arnica to put on my wrist when it hurts. I can't really tell if it does too much, but it gives a little bit of relief. My mom is a big fan of arnica, so that's over here. I've got my Common Threads Press books, Many Hands Make a Quilt, Stitching Freedom by Isabella Rosner. Haven't read these yet. Try to prioritize library books before books that I buy for myself. A couple spare hoops, and then I have some sketchbooks. And then I also have a Paul Klee book. I started reading this, but again, I'm trying to prioritize library books over books that we own. History of Underclothes. Started reading it, but haven't gotten very far. This is a Ruth Asawa book as well that I've had for a while, and now I'm trying to read cover to cover, but I haven't really read it much because I'm doing so much library book reading. This thread I'm not planning on organizing. Thread, it'll get used eventually. Over here is my attempt at organizing thread, or at least maybe Lewis's attempt at having me organize my thread. A couple more markery pens. Oh, another needle for the punch needle. Lewis built this little mat board linen hinging tape box that perfectly fits thread in it. And it specifically helped me make Prisma colors of thread when I was doing pieces like that one where I want the colors to be kind of ombre. I would line them up dark to light, like the blue shade, and then organize them in here. But now it's just kind of a mess, and I just put whatever in here. There's a lot of cream thread in here. I'll probably put some of these guys in here just so that they have a place to go. I'm not that good at staying organized for very long. This is my large briefcase of thread. My friend Leanna thrifted this for me. I've probably showed it before, and I try to keep this organized too, but there's only so much one can do to stay organized, especially when I'm always rotating projects. But I have a pretty good collection right now. Okay, this is the last pile. I have some blank hoops with this pale green linen. Not sure exactly what's gonna go in here. Maybe more line drawings or quilt drawings. I have this black linen stretched on a hoop. I think my plan was to try and practice punch needle on here, and I wanted to do 2 bunnies in like a pale brown kind of a shade, but I haven't started that yet. I have this tank top that was a dress that my sister gave me, but it was a very short dress, and she didn't want to wear it. And I'm not really one to wear like a tight, short tank top dress. So I hemmed it. The only thing is the hem is a little curly, like it needs a good pressing. And I thought that I would embroider something very little on here. Maybe like, again, I don't know, I'm kind of in the mood to embroider bunnies. So I was thinking like a tiny little bunny up by the top. The material is a very thick jersey, so I don't think it's going to be particularly fun to embroider on here, and that's why I was thinking something small that won't take too long. It's just a pile of thread scraps. Here is my beginning punch needle project. It's 2 pigeons. So when you're punching with the needle, this is what you're looking at. I'm following the drawing, but my intention was to have the finished piece be the opposite side, only it's super messy. So I do want to continue doing this and just see what happens, but it's probably gonna look pretty crazy, like 2 extremely curly pigeons. We'll see. I'm just practicing. That's my beginner punch needle attempt. This is a linen dress. It's rather wrinkly. It's a dress I made a while ago, like a t-shirt dress with a zipper down the back. And I drew a lot of imagery inspired by the Wheel of Fortune from the tarot all over. Here's a sphinx and a snake and the wheel. It says tarot, angels and flowers and clouds. There's a lot of drawings on the back as well. I've got like a Taurus bull with a book and a lion. Yeah, I haven't really worked on this. This is over a year old. When I initially drew this out and made the dress, I wanted to do a very colorful embroidery, and then recently I found this kind of tucked away and I decided I'm just gonna do an entire outline, everything in black thread. I think just out of convenience, knowing that I'm more likely to actually finish this project if I simplify it by just sticking to one type of thread and doing an outline for this. And also this shade of purple is very specific and it's hard to pick a color scheme that goes with it. So I figure black is fine. I'll try to finish this year, but we'll see. Okay, this is more thread set aside specifically for this project, which is actually a piece. It's not a full garment, it's a piece cut out for a shirt that I was planning on making. I drew. Inspired by the Queen of Swords. This has also kind of just been sitting around because it's a rather ambitious project. I have some more of the pieces here. This is the centerpiece of the front of the shirt, which is a large sword. This would be the back, which is like an angel and an eye. And then I have some more pieces here. I just have all the pattern pieces together. There's drawn out bits, like the sleeves are gonna have clouds on them. Two sides of the shirt were gonna be butterfly wings on either side, surrounding the sword piece and another butterfly. This is a little tapestry I started. It's got a combination of line drawings, filled in embroidery, flowers, some quilt squares. I really like how this one came out. There's horses on here. And yeah, I started this past summer. I actually did just get this wrist guard, or it's a thumb stabilizer. So I'm supposed to wear this while I work. My thumb comes up here. This piece wraps around the thumb, and then this goes around my hand. That should help me a bit as I work on more embroidery projects. I'd love to finish this and then put some kind of border around it or frame it. Okay, this piece here is inspired by the Magician Tarot card. I'm not sure if I've showed this before. I've been working on this also all summer, again with my hand. I think I've just been taking lots of breaks. This is a very classic Tessa magic inspired hoop. Random bits of threads hanging out here. And then over here, I have a hoop for clothing to help me embroider. I have a pair of brown linen pants that I wanted to embroider the cuffs, the bottom of them, and wear them with a really bodacious pair of boots. But I'm not totally sure what style of embroidery I want to do. If I want to do flowers, if I want to do like motifs, like birds or something. But I'd like to do these soon because they are linen pants, so fall would be a good time to get these done. And in the wintertime, it's a bit too cold for linen. But these are just over here. I also have a pair of shorts that Lewis donated to my embroidery endeavors. I think he bought them for himself and they're just too small on him. These are probably too small on me as well. I thought it'd be fun to make a little Bermuda pair of shorts with some kind of embroidered motif on both of the legs. So I set these aside, but it's probably a little too late in the season to prioritize embroidering shorts. I'm moving on to fall and winter, so I'm probably gonna put these upstairs. Here is my instruction book for the punch needle that I got. It's actually pretty helpful, but very simple. I have some tissue box covers that I made and I was going to embroider or bead buttons onto. They're just kind of a basic blue linen. And then this is more thread that someone donated to me, which was really, really cool. I don't even have the space to organize it into my holder, so it's just staying in this box for now. And as I need certain colors, I'll pull them out. That's my couch pile. That's everything that I have to share today. Those are all my projects that I've got going on, at least over here. I've got more projects upstairs. That's just how I am. I'm the type of person who has a lot of different creative projects going on at once, and it helps me if I'm not in the mood to do one thing, I switch gears and start another thing. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back hopefully next week with another one that's a little bit more thought out. I hope you're doing well out there, and have a good rest of your week. Bye.